You're good.
So for my 20% project, I decided to figure out which type of wood is the best to use. And so I did it based on what they use in majors, and they use maple, ash, and birch. They used to use hickory in the olden days, but not anymore. And maple is the strongest and most dense of all the bats. The grains are least visible on maple. It has the best pop, which means the ball will go farther. And it's more breakable on misses, like if you hit it off the end of the bat or on the handle. Ash is the least dense with more flexibility. It has the longest sweet spot. It's more forgiving off the end, but it's less forgiving on the inside of the handle. Birch has density closer to maple with some flexibility, but its grains are less visible, and you have to hit more with it to get pop, and it's fine when this hits. And so for my statistics, I decided to use Major League Baseball players, and I did it based on their body size, and these are pretty much normal Major League players. And so I calculated it with the hits, doubles, triples, RBIs, home runs, slugging percentage, and batting average. And so the one who did the best was David Wright, who used an ash bat. And another thing to factor in when using baseball bats is the speed at which you swing. And so, as you can see, he uses a 33-ounce bat, which is pretty heavy, but it's not the heaviest. And then I did the same thing with these guys, and they're bigger, I guess, like 240 pounds. And so I did the same thing. And the one who did the best out of all these guys was David Ortiz, and he used the maple bat, and his was a little smaller with 31 ounces, and so yeah, that's important. And then same thing, these guys are smaller, I guess.
Just a question. For the guys that you studied, was there any data on them using different bats?
Oh yeah.
Ortiz using what?
So what I did is, I used 3 different players who used 3 different types of bats.
Oh, okay.
So the one on this used maple, the one in the parts to the left used maple, the one in the middle used ash, and the one to the right used birch.
So do we know that it's not his talent and that it's the bat?
Yeah, because these guys are all talented players,
Okay.
and they're all like home run hitters.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
same thing with the other 2. And so the one who did the best for this was Dustin Pedroia, and he used a maple bat as well, like David Ortiz, and his was pretty small, and it was only 30.5 ounces. So for people like this, David Ortiz, the best would be ash, and you would want to make sure it's pretty light because you want some speed, because that will make the ball go farther off the bat, and you'll be able to hit better. For people like David Ortiz, you would want to use maple because it has a lot of pop, and since you're a bigger guy, and maple is hardest and strongest and heaviest, you'll be able to swing it faster, and so you'll get even more speed. And same with people like this, because even though they're smaller, they have good bat speed, and they're not really going for home runs. Like they go more for doubles and triples and stuff like that. And then another thing you want to consider with wood bats is the danger of breaking them. And with maple bats, they tend to more break like in half, like you can see here, while ash and birch tend to flake a bit. And then I also put in some stats, and Barry Bonds used a maple bat, and he was the one who hit the most home runs. But Mickey Mantle, since he was in the olden days, even though he used hickory, he managed to hit the longest home run at over 600 feet. And some of my struggles were, it was difficult to find people with the types of bat, like birch isn't commonly used in the majors. Well, maple, and neither is ash. Well, maple is the most common. And then stats, it was difficult because I had to use the same amount of at-bats for everyone, and since they were different ages, it was difficult to get the same amount of at-bats. And that's it.